I have a conversion rate of 2 or 3%. You know, so what we do is we focus on we focus on activity. What are the signs, the lifestyle change that's going to result in somebody who has a high probability of selling? So an example of somebody getting married. You know, like I'm getting married in December, and we're selling 2 houses and buying 1. Okay.
Have you picked the city?
What's that?
Have you picked the city yet?
Yeah, it's going to be Oak Park.
Nice.
And then the or Westlake Village. We'll see. And then then you got somebody who's getting divorced, and they're selling 1 house and sometimes buying 2. All right, so that has a high probability. Then you have probate, where you know that the asset is going to get, there's a high probability it's going to be liquidated. Then you have distress, that there's a high probability it's going to be liquidated. Then you have, we can go on and on. For sale by owner, there's a 70% chance that a for sale by owner is going to list their property within 30 days with an agent. And you can go on and on. Expired is another example. There's a high probability that an expired listing is going to relist within the year. You know, some people like to take a season off and then come back again with their flawed strategy, you know, to try to sell the house. So we focus our marketing on activity based, but by far and away, the best success that we get is distressed. By far and away, the most conversations we have with people is distressed. The most face-to-face appointments we get is through tagging. And the conversion rate is higher there than anything else that we do, which is why we continue to do it every single week. And we just do it modestly. Our goal is 15, 20 tags a week, 15, 20 tags a week, 3, 4 appointments a week, and then follow up. And those convert into listings and closed income. And here's the best part of it. We make the most amount of money on those distressed properties. And so once you get a pipeline of it, you got 1 or 2 closing every single month. And those are those are your bread and butter deals. And, you know, you've got $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month in income coming in on a steady basis as a result of the distressed properties. Then that is what actually gives you the money in order to do some of the other things, which is exactly how I built my business. I only had distress, and now I've got Facebook, and now I've got expired, and now I've got FSBO, and, you know, and some of these other properties. But I built my business on a distressed property foundation.
Josh wrote, so many of my agents in my market interested in interest rates increase, medium house income hasn't increased. We need a little correction. I think the market needs a lot of correction. I think that's what we're looking at. The only question is whether or not it's going to increase the default rate. And I think that's what we're seeing.
All right. Well, I'm going to do I'm actually doing a video today. I'm doing my
as you do
my September market update. And I'm looking at some of the stats right now. You know, I have them on my screen. And there are some very interesting trends in the marketplace. I've been forecasting for a couple of months now that we're going to see a 3 to 5% correction over the next 6 to 12 months. But it's going to be gradual. You're not going to wake up one day and the market's 5% cheaper. It's going to, you know, it's going to be a very slow, a half a point, a half a point, a half a point. But for 8 months in a row, now we've seen inventory increase. We've seen sales remain flat to even down. We've seen the gap, the gap up until last month between seller expectations and buyer expectation has been running about 3 to 4%. And last month was the first month that it started to close a little bit, which means we're finally seeing sellers competing with each other in order to bring prices down. Sellers who need to sell are going to reduce their price and sell. Sellers that don't need to sell and think they're going to wait till spring, they're going to expire off the market, which is about 1 in 4 properties right now, which means they're overpriced. And then when they go back on the market, they're going to do new comps, and the people who had to sell are going to set the baseline for the new comps, and those new comps are going to show a lower price point. And hopefully those sellers are going to focus on what the current market data is not what they wish they sold for 2 years ago. And so there is going to be a price adjustment. I don't want to call it a correction. I certainly don't want to call it a crash. It's going to take a few months, but the gap between buyers and sellers is going to close, and we're going to see a more normal market, which is complex for buyers and sellers and maybe mostly agents, because most agents have never seen a neutral market or a buyer's market, because we've had such a strong seller's market since 2012, and people just aren't used to what a normal market cycle does, which basically is good for buyers and just makes it easier in the long run to do business and makes doing business more profitable. So I think that I think it's good for the market, and but you do have to adjust your strategies. We're doing that, and maybe we'll have some conversations about pricing strategies and marketing strategies going forward in the new year. But for right now, we're going to see a correction, an adjustment. Let's call it an adjustment.
From Michelle. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's going to be slow and painless. That's all.
From Michelle Denise Walker. Hi, David. What is your fee from agents once we start to structure the deal? Shameless plug right in the middle.
First of all, I don't charge any. I do free consultations all day long. So if you get into a transaction and you need some help with it, sometimes I can tell you what to do in just 3, 4, 5 minutes, and I don't charge anything for that. Okay. I get paid on results. So if you end up having a short sale, and I do that because I want to invest in the relationship. So when you get a short sale, then I'm hoping that you'll consider us and you'll send it to us. So if we take over your short sale, and we're famous for taking over dead deals and turn them into commission income, taking over short sale negotiations that other negotiators are telling you are impossible to do, and then we get them done. When we do that, we generally get paid by the bank 7 out of 10 times. It's actually 72% of the time the bank pays our fee, so it doesn't cost you anything. So if you list it at 3.5%, at 6%, 3.5% to the list side and 2.5% to the buy side, you're going to make 3.5%. Buyer's going to make 2.5%, and we actually get 2% from the bank. So we're able to negotiate 8.5% total compensation and get paid on the HUD out of escrow. When we can't get our fee paid by the bank, which is just 28% of the time, call it 3 out of 10 times, then the worst case scenario is we just charge 25% of the listing agent commission, which means the listing agent, if they're doing 6% and offering 2.5%, the listing agent will make 2 5/8. We'll make 7/8, not even 1 point. We'll make 7/8, and the buyer's agent will make 2.5%. And the reason we do that is I like the incentive to get my fee paid by the bank, because it motivates me, because I make twice as much money when I can get paid by the bank than when I get paid by the agent. And so we really work hard in order to handle that in the negotiation and structure it. So you're making 3.5 points and the buyer's agent's making 2.5 points. So there's a high probability it costs you nothing.
Which segues, and how can people reach you again, David?
Well, 805-413-8000 is my number. 805-413-8000 is my number. And, of course, email is david@homeloanadvocates.com.
It's also David Bartels on Facebook. Deborah Peters Wild. Does David handle Nevada, and what is his phone number again? He ran that pretty fast.
Okay. So, yeah, we're doing a number of transactions in Nevada. We're actually doing them all over the country. And my phone number is 805-413-8000.
There you go. Which takes us to a segue from Daniel. We're getting a lot of homeowners who are interested in selling to us, but the bank won't speak to them to get a payoff. How can we make them an offer if they don't know how much they need to pay off? David, this is a great place to insert yourself for Daniel's life.
Yeah, sure. That's not really that complicated. We don't really know. So, when I'm coaching real estate investors and real estate agents, one of the first things that I try to explain to them is get control of the deal. Just get the listing or get it under contract. and then figure out whether or not it's a deal or not. Figure out whether or not it's a short sale. Figure out whether or not it's equity and that kind of thing. Step one is get control of the deal. And in California, you want to just, I recommend just a regular listing agreement on short sales. I recommend a 2-year listing agreement. That's what we do, a 2-year listing agreement at 6% commission, offering 2.5% to cooperating agents. Get control of the deal, and then we go back and do the research. So if we get a third-party authorization, we'll call the bank and we'll get a payoff demand. I'm not familiar with the concept of banks refusing to give a payoff demand to a homeowner or to an authorized third party. We don't have any difficulties like that.
There you go. I want to say welcome to all the new coaching students. We got a bunch of new coaching students last month.
Nice.
Deborah said, what was the commission percentage again, David?
3.5, 2.5.
There you go.
Okay. So we're a 6%, 3.5 to the list side, 2.5 to the buy side.
There you go. Okay. So we will make the turn right there and start talking about the monster marketing system. That is the reason we are all together. I created a system approximately 8 years ago using a simple little tag to generate results. Works like a charm, so we're going to answer questions. If you are listening to this and you are not a monster coaching student, my advice is to type in lee-honish.com, watch the latest webinar. That's what we talked about at the top. It's literally right on lee-honish.com. It's the first thing I posted. Or you could type in thelistingmonster.com. Or give Diana Ortiz a call at 213-706-0040, just like the commercial before this podcast. All right. Let's do Pete Sanchez. Forgot to mention monster testimony. We're closing on a short sale tomorrow. My wife is double ending it at $650 from a tag. She'll also be relisting it at 1%. So what is that? 7% total? That's a 42. It's more than that, right? What are you looking at? That's almost a $55,000 take, David, on $650 on a
yeah. Those are the days. So that's why this is why I do distressed properties.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't know if you're noticing out there. I mean, well, we're talking about, how the market is shifting, and we're talking about how prices are coming down. But what no one is talking about is that commissions are coming down. And in my market, we are seeing a lot of agents 4%, 3.5%, 4.5%. And when you get a distressed property, it's 6% all day long. You got complete control of the deal, and there's a very high probability that you're going to be able to represent the buyer as well.
There you go. James Bodie asked a very good question. So for those not familiar with the monster process, or you're brand new and you have not tagged yet, you go to the property, you put up the monster marketing piece. By design, that marketing piece will prompt the homeowner to call for more information. The call will go to a call center. Call center will read an amazing script and then schedule an appointment and capture all their information like their cell phone and their email. James Bodie asks, when meeting up with a homeowner while tagging at a property, what should I say to them? Now, I can give you my answer because I do put out the physical marketing for my group. I don't even talk to them, James. I mean, I literally walk by them, put the tag on the garage or the front door or the mailbox, and walk right by them. I don't tend to engage them. But I'm not the one who meets with them at the front door. So, David, what do you tell your guy when he runs into the homeowner?
When he's doing the tag?
Yeah.
So it depends. All right. So if the tagger does not do the first meetings, then he's just a tagger, and he just say, hey, here, these guys are trying to deliver a package to you. Call the 800 number to coordinate it, and good luck getting leads. If it's the person who does the first meetings, we have them take a package and just do the presentation.
There you go.
So my guys, the guy that can do the first meeting, He actually, this is an advanced